Red Lines is a book about censorship as experienced by political cartoonists around the world. It's a crossover project, a piece of scholarly research with a documentary narrative style rendered entirely in graphic form. I am a professor of media studies. I write mainly about journalism and politics, and most of my other work looks like this. My co-author, Sunny Liu, does this sort of thing. He is a comic book author and artist. Our paths crossed when Sunny was researching his graphic novel, The Art of Charlie Chan Hock Chai. It had references to Singapore's media history that he wanted to check with me. I had not previously followed Sunny's career, but I was blown away by his talent. So when he suggested the possibility of collaborating on a future project, I wasn't going to let the opportunity pass. In 2016, I sold him the idea of a book about the censorship of political cartoons. The final product will speak for itself, so in this video I'm going to talk about the process of our collaboration, in particular the challenge of crossing the traditional divide between words and art. I wanted something better than an illustrated book with text and image juxtaposed but not really integrated. In my previous career as a newspaper journalist, I'd worked as an art editor and knew the power of a close marriage between words and pictures, the kind you see in information graphics as well as graphic journalism. To achieve this, I needed to change my approach to research and writing. When I interviewed cartoonists, I had to collect lots of photos and other visuals for Sunny to work with. And I needed to write the chapters like a script, avoiding long paragraphs, breaking the narrative into bite-sized chunks for Sunny to turn into sequential art. I abandoned in-text citations and notes and used a keyword system for referencing. In theory, all this sounds straightforward, but in practice, it was anything but. In the first set of pages we worked on, things got so frustrating that at one point, Sunny even offered to quit over what seemed like irreconcilable artistic differences. I refused to admit defeat because I sensed we just needed time to harmonize. I liken it to a songwriting partnership. The lyricist needs to get the musical style of the composer. If you assume you're writing the words for a pop ballad when the composer has a hip-hop arrangement in mind, it's not going to work. What I had pictured in my mind's eye was a work of conventional graphics journalism, and that's how I drafted our prototype chapter. For very good reasons, though, Sunny was going for a more original approach, inspired by underground makeshift publications like Soviet Samizdat and subculture zines. My prototype script didn't translate well. But once I absorbed the style that Sunny was going for, it was much easier to write to the same beat, so to speak. The process was quite smooth after that. But there were still some interesting tensions that we had to work through. My experience in art and design was entirely in visual journalism, which follows strict conventions. In maps and charts, whether you use a 2-point solid line or a 1-point dotted line, a black box versus a grey one is a very deliberate choice. Sunny's repertoire, on the other hand, recommended a looser, more intuitive approach. We had to strike a balance between unambiguous precision when needed, while also making room for some playfulness and openness to interpretation. Our ultimate responsibility was to stay true to the real-life accounts our interviewees had shared with us, never sensationalizing or trivializing their experiences, but reflecting the range of ways in which cartoonists recollect and relate their encounters with censorship and repression. Sometimes nervous and fearful, sometimes indignant, sometimes with an impertinent laugh. Our interviewees entrusted us with their stories, and we hope the book lives up to that trust. Thank you.